Hey, welcome aboard, Plainsmen Read Players, and also welcome to any other read players around the state and country that might be using this video. My band director friends and I are trying to collaborate, and I happen to be a clarinet player, so I'm going to show you some things today about how to take care of your reed and your mouthpiece for your single reed instrument. My name's Chris Olson, and I'm the band director at Laramie High School, and I'm teaching from my lovely home during this coronavirus thing. And I'm going to teach you a little bit today about reeds and mouthpieces for single reed instruments. You'll notice that I have a couple of glasses of liquid here. This first one is just a glass of water that I'm soaking. I have a brand new reed here. I just took it out of the package, and I'm soaking it in some water. If you are in an area that the coronavirus was spreading through your community before you got out of school, you might want to throw away your old reeds and just get some brand new ones. I doubt that it would still be, the coronavirus would still be on there, but it could be. And so, or you could also put it in some alcohol and then rinse it out. Right now I'm just soaking it in some water to get it ready for the preparations I'm going to do to make it a better sounding reed. Now, I also have this other glass of liquid here. This is not water, it's vinegar. I just have some distilled vinegar here. And as you know, vinegar is very acidic. And sometimes we get that white gunk on our mouthpieces. This is how I'm going to clean that off here. This mouthpiece isn't really dirty, but I've seen some students' mouthpieces that have the white stuff all the way around, and you try to wash it off and it won't come off. Here's the secret. If you soak it in this vinegar for about 20 minutes, we'll take it out in a little bit, and then I'll show you what to do with it. It's not going to make your mouthpiece taste like vinegar because you're going to rinse it off afterwards. And in this case, we're also going to sanitize it because of the coronavirus situation. So I'm going to put my mouthpiece soaking in the vinegar aside for right now. And I've got this reed. And one thing I want to just talk a little bit about buying reeds and keeping reeds. First of all, you're going to get what you pay for. If you buy the very cheapest reeds, and I'm not going to talk about brands here because I'm not endorsing any brand, but if you buy the very cheapest brands of reeds, you're not going to get the best reed you can possibly get. Ask your band director for recommendations of what size and what type of reeds to play on. If you want to get a hold of me, my email is colson, O-L-S-O-N, @acsd1.org, and I can give you some specific recommendations based on your playing ability and the type of playing you do. So I have this brand new reed here, and when I feel it like this, I can feel that it's rough. We need to remember that reeds they come from a plant. And so right now, all those fibers, the plant fibers, are open because when this plant was growing, water was going up through these open fibers. And sometimes you might notice that when you play on a reed, a brand new reed, it has kind of an airy sound and it's a little bit harder to play. And then after about a week or so of playing, it sounds better and plays more easily. I'm going to teach you today how to get that effect more quickly and just get a better sound out of your reed and get some better vibrations going when you play your instrument. All right, so I've soaked this reed for, 5 or 10 minutes in some water. Probably not that long. I probably would only do this 5 minutes at the tops. You don't want to soak it in there a long time because the water will break down the fiber and it'll actually make your reed get soft and mushy sooner than it would. All right, so I'm going to take a piece of paper. I'm just using regular printer paper right now, but what I really prefer is like a rough paper, maybe like a brown paper bag, something like that. And I'm just putting the flat part of the reed down on the paper, and I'm just going to polish it basically. All right, and I'm just going to rub it on that paper. This works much better and is less likely to damage your reed if you do it when the reed is really nice and wet and a little bit pliable. All right, so I am putting the flat part of the reed down on the paper, and I'm just polishing it on there. Now when I take it off, I wish I could when I show my students this in person, I have them feel their reeds when they do this. The back of the reed it feels really smooth, and the front of the reed is still rough. Now, I could put the front of the reed down on that paper and do the same thing, but because it's curved and shaped differently, I might break the reed. So what I'm going to do instead is put the flat part down on the table, and I'm going to do the polishing with the paper. I'm going to take the paper and move it on that reed. Now, some of what we're doing here is we're kind of forcing those fibers to close. And then the other thing that we're doing, when reeds were first being made, produced, mass-produced, they would cut the cane that the reeds come from, and they'd lay them out in screens on the ground, maybe in a South American country, something like that, where it rains every day and then it's really hot. And so the rain, the heat, the rain, the heat would cure these reeds. That's what they called it. Now reeds are produced so quickly and sent out so quickly that they don't go through that process. So we're kind of mimicking that process here. We're going to soak our reed every day. We're going to do the polishing thing. And then tomorrow, right before I play, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And by this, usually, right now you will be able to feel the difference. And when you go to play on it today, it's going to play better, way better than a brand new reed normally does. And I'm going to do this for 2 or 3 days when I first get the reed. Soak it, dry it out, soak it, dry it out, do the polishing thing, and my reeds are going to play much better. Now you might be thinking, I know you might be thinking, if you're one of my students, you might be saying this out loud. You might be saying, well, that's a lot of work to do for a reed, and I only have one. You need to have at least 3 to 5 reeds going at all times, and I recommend that you buy them in boxes of 10, either from your local music store or online. Buy them in a box of 10 because I know, I've been doing this a long time, and I know that what you do is you have this really great reed going, you've been playing on it for a couple weeks, the concert comes along, and you're like, nope, I'm going to use a brand new reed for my concert tonight. And then you try to play on a brand new reed for the concert and your tone is not as clear and it takes a lot of air to get a sound. So we try to keep our reeds going. Now I don't have a reed case at home because I left them on my desk at school, but you don't want to use, the plastic reed. I thought I had one. The plastic reed case that it comes in, you don't want to use that as a way to store it. There are a couple different things you can do. A reed saver is a product that you can get, and some of you have probably seen them. It's a plastic thing that has places for either 2 or 4 reeds, and you just slide the reed under the little clamp, and it will keep your reed from warping when it's drying out in your case. And then the other thing that you can use, this is what I do, I use a piece of glass, a piece of mirror, just a square or rectangular, and I put rubber bands around it, and then I slip the reeds under that. That does the same exact thing. It keeps it flat and it allows it to dry out completely. If you're leaving your reed on your mouthpiece, and when you put your instrument away every day, ew, ugh, don't do it. It's icky. All kinds of stuff gets in there and it's gross. And your reed is going to warp if you leave it on the mouthpiece. And what I mean by that, if you look at the end of it, sometimes you'll see like it's kind of wiggly like this. Not good. It's not going to play right. So use some kind of reed case to store it. Get at least 5 to 10 reeds going and do that. That's it for reeds. There's other things you can do. If this COVID thing goes on for a while, I'll do a couple of other videos to take you to some more advanced things where we can do a little shaving of the reed and also maybe even clipping the top a little bit. But for now, that's what we're going to do for reeds. Now I'm going to come back to my mouthpiece. My mouthpiece has been sitting here for, 15 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. And as I look at it, I'll see if I can get the phone. You can see that it's kind of got that nasty white stuff has loosened up a little bit. And so if I were at school where I have all my tools, I would take a mouthpiece brush and just brush that stuff out of there. But I'm not, and you might not have a mouthpiece brush at home. So I'm going to show you how to do this, what I would do if I were at home, which I am. So hold on 1 minute. I'm just going to take a Kleenex. I'm going to take this mouthpiece out of there. And then I'm just going to kind of clean out that inside of that mouthpiece. And I don't want to stuff the whole Kleenex in there because it'll get stuck and then we got problems. And then I'm also going to wipe off the outside. And you can see that white stuff that was kind of coated on there just wipes right off now that it's been in the water. And then I would, if I were doing this over at my kitchen sink, I would rinse it under the faucet, but I'm just going to rinse it in this water I have here for now. and now my mouthpiece is really clean. If you have concerns about your mouthpiece possibly being a carrier of the COVID disease, I would wash it, I would rinse it with alcohol. It needs to be at least 90% alcohol, according to CDC, to kill all the germs. But I would just, after I've rinsed it now, I would just run some alcohol through there or put it in a bleach solution. Again, look on the CDC website. Neither of those things is going to hurt it. Don't soak it in those things. Just pour it over and then rinse it off with clear water. So that will take care of your mouthpiece. Here's what I don't want you to do. Don't do it. Sometimes you will hear brass players, they talk about boiling their mouthpieces to make sure they're sterile. We don't do that with woodwind mouthpieces. This material that it's made out of will, first of all, it will turn army green, icky, ugly, and the next thing that it will do is it will damage your mouthpiece. It'll warp it or melt it, and it won't play right. So don't boil it, don't put it in hot water, just do this part. Since I've got it wet, I would probably now put some cork grease on it before I put it back on. And when you're putting cork grease on, don't just put the cork grease on and then slip it in your instrument. You want to rub it in. It's just like hand lotion on your hands. You don't just put hand lotion on your hands and then leave it there. You kind of rub it in. And that's what you're going to do with the cork grease too. You don't have to do that every time you play. If it's a brand new cork, you want to do it for about a week every time you put your instrument together. And then after that, just when it feels like it needs it. Hey, reed players, I encourage you to use this time to make music with your family, make music with your friends. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try it today with some students. I want to try FaceTiming and seeing if we can play a duet together over FaceTime. If not, there's other platforms, Google Hang or Google Hangout, Zoom. Some of those things we're experimenting with. Play around with them with your friends, see if you can get it to work. Happy playing. Bye.